What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Breakdown Sportscast. I'm your good friend and host, Kory Willis. Hope everyone out there is doing well on a Friday, getting ready for Week 7. Week 7 of the college football season. Look, me and Chris told you guys out there that college football doesn't last that long. As soon as we're here, we're out of it.
We was at week 1, and here we are. It's week 7. It's that snowball effect, Kory. Just once it starts rolling, that sucker just keeps getting bigger and bigger and faster.
Exactly. You know how it is, folks. So yeah, as always, we hope you all are doing well on a Friday, getting ready for a great week of college football. A lot of great games coming up this weekend. So overall, hope you guys are finishing up all of your projects and getting set for a wild weekend in college football. As always, guys, we appreciate you all listening to the show. You know where to find us. We're on everything. You can find us at BD Sportscast on X, on Instagram, and also on our TikTok channel. You can just find all of our content there. If you want to listen to past and present episodes of the Breakdown Sportscast, you can listen to us on a bevy of your favorite podcast applications. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it. And if you listen to our live simulcast on our official YouTube channel here, of course, we appreciate it. And also on our Twitch channel at Breakdown Video Game Cast, where Chris and I are playing some college football 26, some other things out there. We also appreciate that as well. So yeah, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the show. It's definitely important for Chris and I as we continue to build a great community here for the future for you guys. So as always, we very much appreciate you guys' support with the show. As always, you know who I'm with. You just heard him. We are here with my main man, my co-host, Chris Bolton. Chris, what's going on, man?
Hey, nothing much. You know, everything doing just fine. Ready to talk about this wild, wacky, potentially chaotic weekend of college football that I think we have on the horizon. You know, this last one had there was some chaos that took place, unexpected chaos. I think if we look at the forecast this weekend, Kory, there's definitely potential for some storms to pop up, for there to be some foolishness, if you will, this weekend, Kory.
No, you're absolutely right, Chris. Look, we saw last week 6. You know, it had its moments, of course. I mean, the biggest one, you know, Penn State going down at the Rose Bowl. You know, who saw that coming? None of us did. but the college football god said, "Hold up, we'll be right back." so what is it this week, Chris? You know, is Alabama gonna go down in Columbia? Like, what's going on?
A whole lot that can go down this weekend. I mean, we're gonna dive into it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, as we always do here on the Breakdown Sportscast. So yeah, man. A big week ahead. Week 7 is upon us, Chris. Are you all ready to delve deep into this week's games?
Let's do it.
All right. Here we are, Week 7 predictions. We'll go ahead and start off with an interesting game, Chris, in the Big Ten. Ohio State taking on Illinois. They have to travel to Champaign, Illinois, Chris. OSU, the line right now is 14.5. Over-under is at 50.5. This is an interesting ball game, Chris, because right now, as we've been watching Ohio State, they've just been cruising. every week, you know, the game doesn't get too big for them. They're handling business like a defending national championship team should. And for Illinois, you know, they've been trying to, you know, find themselves, of course, after that bludgeoning of a game they took against Indiana. And, you know, now fighting the line out. They want to bounce back big, Chris. You know, they've been taking care of their business since that game. But how big of a win would it be if Brett Bielema, Luke Altmaier, and company can come out of Champaign with the W against an Ohio State team that, quite frankly, I mean, maybe you can tell me, Chris. I don't know really what the weakness is of this OSU team. I mean, maybe it is the running game. I mean, you don't really have Travion Henderson there, so maybe that a little bit of that is. But they're finding ways to win games each and every week. What are your thoughts about this game, Chris, as we head closer to Saturday?
Yeah, Kory, this is quite, it's a sneaky matchup. You know, Ohio State has looked like just typical Ohio State. You know, defense has been legit, official, one of the best defenses in the nation, if not the best. And then Julian Sayin continues to just get better and better each week. Looks like it's that five-star quarterback coming out of high school that we anticipated him being. He's been legit. And so I feel really good about this Ohio State team. And Illinois stumbled out the blocks a little bit with a tough loss, getting beat down by Indiana. Really, made them have to evaluate themselves, sit down and be like, we got to lock in, find a way to beat a tough USC team that's very talented. Now you welcome Ohio State to your spot, to your home field. I don't expect them to get beat down like they did against Indiana in this one, Kory. But the way Ohio State just looks on both sides of the ball, it's tough not to go with Ohio State to win kind of handily in this one. I would like to see how Julian Sayin plays if it is a close game. And now you got the veteran QB Luke Altmaier going against the youngster in his first situation of high pressure clutch time football. That would be very interesting to see how Sayin responds. But I just feel like Ohio State. So not only is this team extremely athletic and has all the blue chip players, Ryan Day has them very well coached. I mean, this is a well-oiled machine. And as much as we love us some Illinois on this podcast and Luke Altmaier, I have to give the credit to the Buckeyes and say I feel like they win this one going away. I can see this being like a 41-17 type of win. And I want it to be a close game. It's hard to erase that memory of Indiana putting the beat down on Illinois out of my mind, and especially seeing how well Ohio State's playing. I think Ohio State, the Buckeyes, even though it's a road game, can they win comfortably?
Yeah, no, you're spot on, Chris. I mean, every time I look at Illinois now, I think about Indiana, just putting the pause on them. Like, I can just tell in that game, Chris, like, Illinois was just trying to block. They look like Manny Pacquiao going against Floyd Mayweather.
they weren't even throwing punches back. They were just in the field position.
That's all I saw. That's all I still see from this Illinois team. I still see phantom punches from Indiana being thrown at Illinois. I mean, it's going to be interesting, Chris, because like I want to know which Illinois team shows up. Like I said, last couple weeks they look like they heard the message. They heard that they have some deficiencies that they have to fix. They took care of business against USC. So that was a good sign because things would have really went off the rails, Chris, had they not beat USC a few weeks ago. Yeah, I want to see what this Illinois team can do, what Brett Bielema can do to confuse Ohio State. It's just hard for me to think that they'll be able to do it through 4 quarters in this football game because right now Ryan Day has this team humming. Like they're balling right now, and it's a testament to his coaching and just that coaching staff in general and what they've been able to do in order to squeeze as much talent out of this Ohio State team to look dominant week in and week out. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens if Illinois can, block out the noise, if they can really, show up through 4 quarters and kind of make this into a game, kind of shorten the game. I would really want to see what Luke Altmaier can do against Ohio State defense that's, they've been stifling people week in and week out. So,
yeah.
If I had to put a score to it, Chris, I think Ohio State potentially still wins this ball game. I'm going to go ahead and say Ohio State 31, Illinois 14. I think it may get a little close in the first half, and then I think Ohio State's going to run away with this ball game in the Ohio State fashion, and I think that's going to be it at the end. So.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think what'll be key. We'll definitely keep our eyes peeled to see if they can confuse Julian Saint. What can Illinois do on defense to give him some looks he hasn't seen, make him uncomfortable? And then on the offensive side of the ball, the flip side, Kory, Illinois has to win the battle of the line of scrimmage and run the ball. I think if they run the ball for like 150 yards or more, we have a ball game. Because that means you're keeping Ohio State off the field. You're winning the time of possession. Like you said, you're shortening the game. And can Luke Altmaier take advantage and hit them play action TDs? You got to get some explosives off the play action if you're running the football. So they're going to have to really man up in this one. This is going to be a battle. You got to make this a scrap, a war, to have to have a real chance at winning. And can that crowd, can they get in Julian Saint's head? We saw him do well in Washington, in Seattle. We'll see if them people in Champaign can they cause some ruckus and become a factor in this ball game. But I just, like you said, I'm right there with you. I just think Ohio State's too talented.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, the nation's going to see that. It's going to be a tale of two teams. Ohio State just has a bevy of talent, and I think they're just going to lean into those guys in order to get the W out there in Champaign. So nothing against Illinois. I still think highly of this team, even after the bludgeoning, against Indiana. But Ohio State right now, that like every week you're seeing them, Chris. They're on a mission. They are on a mission, and everyone's out the gun for them. But quite frankly, I don't know who that is because they look so good right now.
Yeah, agreed.
So yeah, but it should be a good game. Big noon kickoff game. So we're gonna kick off our Saturdays with this one, Chris. We won't even have to wait to watch this one.
I love me some big noon kickoff.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And Mr. Portnoy, he loves it too because he's over on the other side looking at Pat McAfee being like, hey, you want to be a great college football morning talk show mascot? No, I'm the better one. I'm going to get these people up. I'm going to get these people riled up, and he's probably going to vote against Ohio State winning the ball game.
That ain't even a question. We know he is.
Yeah. We look. I think that's in that man's DNA. Oh man, but it should be a fun one, to say the least, Chris. I can't wait to watch this one on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything else want to add to this game before we move on to our next one?
No, I'm good to go.
All right. Moving along, Chris, we have an interesting ball game in the SEC. Auburn will be hosting Georgia this Saturday, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
The line right now, Georgia is a 3.5 point favorite. Over under is at 46.5. I've been thinking about this game all week, Chris. I know you have, being a Georgia Bulldog faithful. What are your thoughts about this one? Because this is a tale of two teams. Me and you, we saw that Georgia Kentucky game last week. Ugly. I don't care about the score. I do not care about the score, folks. Looked ugly. On the flip side, Auburn.
But they're coming off a bye.
They're coming off a bye week.
Yeah. Kory, brother. I mean, you talk about a game that has had me torn all week. The fan in me, this is rivalry. It's the Deep South's oldest rivalry right here. You know what I'm saying? The fan in me is like, yeah, Georgia's going to get it done. But the football mind, I've seen both these teams, and both teams have their flaws. Neither team is perfect. But Auburn's at home. This is the biggest game in the Hugh Freeze era, Kory. This including all the, Iron Bowls, all the other games that have taken place. Doesn't matter.
Even Alabama, Ole Miss in 2014,
I just say of his tenure at Auburn. He needs this one more than any game to this point since being the coach at Auburn. His coaching career, his job is on the line with this one, Kory. This is a must win for this program. And so we're going to see Hugh Freeze, if he has anything left in his bag of tricks, and that offensive mind of his they're pulling out all the stops this weekend.
Yeah, this is an interesting ball game.
Mm-hmm. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So, Georgia has struggled rushing the passer, which I think is a plus for Auburn, because they have struggled protecting Jackson Arnold this season.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's something to look out for. If Jackson Arnold is able to have protection and can throw the ball downfield in this one and try to take advantage of this Georgia secondary that's had its troubles, its problems, we might be in store for a good old upset, Kory. Unfortunately for Bulldog fans. I know Gunner has done his thing on the road, but I don't even know if Rocky Top can top what he's going to walk into in this one at Jordan Hare, because those people are going to be insane. And I think Auburn's going to find a way to win. I don't want to pick against Georgia. I just have a feeling. I've been looking at this game since the preseason. That's the one that I'm like, if there's really a game that I feel like is going to stumble Georgia up for real, I think it's this one, Kory. I think it's this
one. Look, in the history of this game, Chris, we've seen miracle catches. Just dominant runs. Like, we've seen it all with this rivalry. It would not surprise me to see Auburn somehow squeeze out of this game with a victory. And just like down there in Gainesville, Chris, the critics will be a little quiet, finally, for Hugh Freeze's sake. They'll finally say, hey, he got him a big win. He got him a big victory while he's here down here in the Plains. He finally secured a big victory over a rival in Georgia, and now they could really assess where they're at and try to make a run, do something down there in Auburn. It would be big. It would be big. At this point now, Chris, in seeing Georgia the last several weeks, I was on my soapbox and saying that when in doubt, when when the going gets tough, Georgia always finds a way to win. Now, heading towards the later half of the season, Chris, I'm starting to weigh off of that a little bit. This Georgia team just, man, it's very Jekyll and Hyde right now. I know you feel it. I know a lot of Georgia fans feel it. I don't know if this kind of Georgia team is capable of running the table and beating the teams that they need to beat. Maybe, maybe I might eat crow about this. Who knows? But they still got a lot of big time games ahead. I don't want to go too far ahead, but they have to play against teams like Ole Miss. They'll see Georgia Tech at the end of the season. It doesn't get any easier for Georgia in the way that they've been playing for me to just say that they're just going to definitively beat someone. They may beat Auburn on Saturday. We'll see. If I had to put something on it, I would say that Auburn finds a way to win this ball game, but it won't be through their offense, Chris. It'll be through their defense because they have some pretty good defense down there in Auburn right now. So can they potentially confuse Gunner Stockton in that offense? When I see Gunner in just Georgia's offense in general, they really look really one dimensional, Chris. It's either Zachariah Branch or bust. Not even Oscar Delp really been doing much. He's been out there, but it's really not the same. It's not as explosive as we've seen Georgia's offense in years. And to me, I think that's a real concern. That's a real problem to me.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. Like you said, this hasn't been your typical Georgia team. Um, and I think, this is a byproduct of everybody being affected by the portal. Uh, Georgia's O line hasn't been the dominant force that it normally has been in the Kirby Smart era. And Auburn, if there's anything Auburn can hang his hat on, it's that D line.
The
that D
nasty.
line, that D line is the truth. Can definitely be a real problem. Um, and if they make it to where Gunner has to be, then I think Hugh Freeze and Auburn will take his chances on a young quarterback. They can shut out the run game, and you make him have to beat you with his arm. I know Georgia has revamped this receiving core, but there's still question marks. You make those guys have to beat you, I think there's a good chance Auburn wins. And I know Jackson Arnold hasn't been the best thrower of the football, but just looking at this matchup, it does feel like Georgia's weaknesses align with Auburn's strengths. Not to say Auburn is a better football team, but just looking at the matchups, Auburn has great receivers. Georgia's secondary is questionable. Auburn has a great D line. Georgia's O line hasn't been the best. Road game for Georgia, who also has a young QB. Home game for Auburn. Crazy crowd, 90,000 people will be there, turned up. You stuck by Tennessee. I don't know if you see by in this. And you very may will. I just feel like this is going to be a game.
It's going to be a barn burner. We got a Jefferson Pilot special in our hands, Kory. This is going to be one of them ones. We just need the Jefferson Pilot logo to the side. We need that scoreboard, the little see-through scoreboard that you can still see the field in the background when it was in the top left corner. We just need that one, that graphic, that logo. But it's going to be a fun one.
Oh man, a 6:30 Jefferson Pilot special on ABC. I'm down for it. This is what we live for, Chris. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what time Jefferson Pilot games come on. They move whenever the games move. So yeah, look. I think this game has an opportunity to be very interesting. Two SEC teams that are trying to break through, and more so Auburn than Georgia at this point because Georgia's had a little bit more success. But this game in particular for Georgia, this is pretty much a trap game. This is pseudo trap game. Not named pseudo. It's a full blown trap game at this point. In the way that they've been playing because they go down there in the plains and they lose this ball game. They're in trouble.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You lost one at home to Alabama. You needed to protect home field. Now you gotta get it back in blood. You gotta earn this one out the mud on the road in the SEC. It's never easy, let alone a rivalry game, let alone a team as desperate as hell and talented. Auburn's talented. This is just this is just it's not a good recipe for Georgia fans, Kory. Um, I hope the bias side of me, the dog wants the dogs to win, of course. But you know, watching the games, I do not feel confident in picking Georgia. Not to say I'm just confident in Auburn to win this one either, but I got that feeling. You understand what I'm saying. Sometimes you just got a hunch about what's going to happen, and we preface it to start this podcast. This feels like a week of chaos. I think Auburn they add to the chaos this weekend and get a win, much needed win at home.
Nice. What's your score?
27-24 Auburn. Walk off field goal.
Okay, I can see that happen. I can see that happen. I'm gonna go ahead and say Auburn wins this game. I'm gonna say 24-17. Late pick six wins them the game. That place is going to erupt.
Moving. The stadium will literally be moving if that's what happens.
It's just gonna be a seismic shift. The plate tectonics are just gonna move like an earthquake.
It's gonna be rocky, swaying left and right. That is what happens.
Oh man, look, hey, that happens. Hey, that's gonna be big. That's gonna be big, and then Kirby Smart and company they're gonna have to hear a lot of chatter from the Georgia media in terms of how the way they performed in that ball game, which I would believe it would be no different than what we've been seeing them the last couple of weeks. To be honest with you, so yeah, it's gonna be an interesting ball game. Can't wait to see what happens, Chris. We're gonna be talking about this one on our live Sunday episode of the Breakdown Sportscast, so it should be a fun one. But anything else you want to add to this game before we move on to our next one?
No, sir.
All right. Moving along, we have another Big Ten game. Oregon hosting Indiana, Chris. Oregon, the line right now has Oregon as a 6.5 point favorite. Over under is at 54.5. Chris, I'll go ahead and start with you. What are your thoughts about this game? Because Oregon, they've been playing really well right now. Dante Moore is playing like the quarterback that Dan Lanning wants. He had him sitting last year behind Dylan Gabriel for moments like this. This is his team now. What do you look for in this game this Saturday as they take on Indiana?
Yeah, I think this will be a fun one. Oregon has played well this season, so has Indiana. Uh, I feel like I was kind of wanting a little more out of Oregon in the Penn State game. Granted, they did go on the road and won. They won the game, tough road game. I think Oregon is the team that I was thinking that they are. Just wanted them to win that one a little more handily, a little more, decisively. But I think in this one, I think it might be Mendoza time, Kory. It's look, Coach C. He says all I do is win, and I think Indiana is ready to put the nation, to put the world on blast. They already whooped up on Illinois. I ain't saying they're gonna whoop up on Oregon, but I think this team, I think they have what it takes to beat Oregon. I'm trusting in Coach C. I'm gonna ride with Indiana. I think it's Hoosier time. Mendoza is the real deal. Um, this could potentially be his Heisman moment, where everybody in college football circles knows how good of a player, how good of a quarterback he is. This is his opportunity to let the nation know. In a big time matchup like this, and I think he will. I think Indiana puts some points on the board. I think Mendoza gets a few tutties with his arm. I think we got a good old shootout on our hands, honestly. I think both offenses come to play. We might be looking at a 38-35 kind of ball game. I think Indiana squeaks out of this one with the win. And one of the biggest wins in program history, Coach C's signature win. And he's already went to the playoff, but he's missing that for real signature win on his resume since being at Indiana. This will stamp it. I'm gonna go with Indiana, Kory.
Look, Kurt Signetti, nothing phases this guy at this point, Chris. This is the man of like single quote, single quotes that you just put on a T-shirt that it just looks very basic, but he means it and he backs it up. and his team, they gobble that stuff up. So look, nothing puts it past Kurt Signetti and this Indiana football team right now, Chris. Right now, he has Mendoza right now playing out of his mind. He's looking like a dark horse Heisman contender. Heck, he's looking like the front runner right now. So, hey, I'm gonna say this, Chris. I don't think Oregon fans should go into this ball game just looking at a clear-cut victory. Like, hey, look, we're Oregon. We got the nice Nike jerseys on. We're gonna pummel you, 63 to like 30 or something like that. Who knows? But I don't think Oregon should go into this ball game thinking that they're going to just walk all over Indiana. I think this Hoosiers team is a damn good one. I think they're on a mission this year to make statements. They already made one out of Illinois. I don't think they would be, stressing out over trying to figure out a way to beat Oregon. I think they know their goal. They want to capitalize off of that. And hey, I think they're gonna go in with a business mindset in this ball game, and I think Oregon needs to get ready for that, because if they don't, they're gonna be looking at them being on the edge of an upset. So, hey, I'm excited about this ball game. If I had to, put a score together, Chris, I'm going to say that Oregon wins this ball game, but they barely win. I'm looking at this game in being 35-28. That's my call on this
one. 35-28?
Yeah. That's what I'm looking at. I might be wrong, but I'll hedge my bets.
That's not a bad prediction at all. I mean, it could end up being a whole blowout. But
yeah.
You never know with this game. I mean, these are two teams that have the potential for very high octane offenses and defenses that can make plays too. So it's the possibilities are endless. And if Oregon comes out here and wins a close one, I wouldn't be surprised. Oregon low-key flexes their muscle. I would be mildly surprised. But it's not out of the realm of possibilities that happens. So this game, anything can happen, I feel like. Because I'm looking at Indiana as a for real team in the Big Ten, a true contender, a playoff team. And it's tough. It's going to be tough for Oregon going up against yet another big dog and someone that's very capable of winning the conference. So let's see what happens. So you got Oregon, I got Indiana.
Nice. Look, I like the split on this one. I think this is gonna be a really good sleeper game, like a dark horse for probably game of the week. Out of all of these great games, like this is a loaded week 7. So I think there's a lot riding on just this one game in terms of playoff seeding and people stepping up into that upper echelon of teams this season. So I like Oregon. You like Indiana. We'll see what happens, but yeah. I think this is going to be a really good ball game this weekend.
Oh yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yes, sir. So yeah, can't wait to talk about it on our live show. Should be a fun one. Anything else you want to add to this game before we move on? All right.
No, sir.
Sounds good. So now, Chris, to our final premier game of the evening, of the day, as we're recording this on a Thursday evening. We have another SEC game. Alabama taking on Missouri. Alabama has to travel to Columbia, Missouri, Chris. The line right now has Alabama as a 2.5-point favorite. That lets you know how Vegas feels about Bama. Over under is at 51.5. This is another game, Chris, that I've been thinking about all week. This Missouri team is really good. Ahmad Hardy is tough to tackle. So if I'm Kalen DeBoer this week, look, tackling drills had to been at an all-time high. Like there is no we taking a week off for tackling. You better tackle before you get ready for this game, because Amar Hardy, which we can go ahead and say, is probably close to being the top running back in the country. We'll see if Jeremiah Love has something to say about that. I love him too.
Mm-hmm.
No pun intended. But yeah, this is going to be a tough ball game for Alabama. I don't think this is going to be, you walk in, you know, show that number on the side of your helmet beat down that Alabama has usually gotten over Missouri. Last several years, last decade or so. I think this game is going to be a little bit different. Missouri's going to step up and challenge Alabama through all three phases. They have the quarterback. Bo Perbula has been playing out of his mind for Missouri. Penn State probably misses him. Sent him a gift basket. Amar Hardy, we've already talked about him. A stud. They got wide receivers. This is a really good football team, Chris. That's trying to make some waves in the SEC race right now, along with teams like an Ole Miss out there in Tennessee. What are your thoughts about this game Saturday? Who has the edge, and why do you think that is?
Man, um, this is quite the matchup. Missouri as a team, it's just been so on point, both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. Alabama, as talented as anybody in the nation, and is playing more disciplined football this season. You have to give credit to Alabama. They have cleaned up a lot compared to how all over the place this team was last year. Ty Simpson continues to mature before our eyes. Um, this won't be easy. I think Missouri will play a great game. I see Missouri ahead late. I think we're going to see Alabama have to go win this. They won the game last week against Vandy defensively by coming up with some big plays, whether it was the strip or taking advantage of a bad read by Diego Pavia and getting an interception in the red zone. Those plays, they made plays defensively to go win the game. This week, I think we're going to have to see Ty Simpson and company go get it. Go take this one with a late game drive. This will be a tug of war, an absolute battle. I'm going to say Alabama wins a close one. I mean, an absolute thriller. And I think they go, and instead of trying to get the field goal and force overtime, I think Bama gets a big touchdown, a go-ahead touchdown, with I mean, just a minute to spare after scoring. I think it'll be one of those kinds of games. Alabama wins 34-30 in a game that will have Tide fans sweating, sweating all afternoon. I mean, this one will not be, it won't be comfortable. I could see Missouri getting ahead of Alabama in similar fashion to Vandy. And where but they really take advantage this time and jump ahead of you 14 zip. And now we really see what the Tide are made of. I'm going to still pick Bama to win a close one, but this won't be a fun one for Bama fans. Will be a pressure cooker. You'll be in the sauna all 3 hours and 15 minutes of this game, Alabama fans. It won't be fun, but I think you find a way to win.
Look, I'm with you, partner. I think this game, Chris, it's gonna be a slugfest of epic proportions in the SEC this weekend. I think Alabama with the way that they've improved, with the way that Ty Simpson has been able to lead and take charge of this offense. I think the offense, it's clear cut to say now, Chris, the offense moves through him. He operates that offense like a true conductor. I think he's going to find ways, even through the struggle, to get them to where they need to be at to win this ball game. I'm going to go ahead and say Alabama wins this game 31-28. Late game field goal wins it, and it will be with the help of Ty Simpson getting them downfield, just with enough time to kick that field goal to win that ball game, and it's going to showcase the clutch nature that Ty Simpson beholds with that Alabama offense right now. I think he's been playing lights out. I think he's going to continue in this game, and he's going to be one of those reasons why they squeeze out this game with the W over the weekend. So, nothing against Missouri. I think Missouri is, like I said, I think they are a really good program in the SEC. Definitely showcasing, that depth in the middle of the SEC conference. Very strong team indeed. And they're going to challenge Alabama. But I just think Bama will find ways to squeeze out of this game with the W at the end. To showcase a couple more of those stars out there. The stars will align on Saturday. So that's my pick.
Yeah, and partner. Would it be wrong if I told you I'm trying the reverse jinx? Pick Bama, so Missouri wins? Because the Alabama hater in me would like to see the Tide lose. I can't lie. But I'm gonna pick the Tide to win this one. So either my pick is right or my spirit wins. We'll see.
Look, we'll see. Look, that's what makes this fun. Every Friday, Chris, where we can make our predictions. And look, we're either spot on or we're way off of the train tracks. So, hey, that's why we do what we do.
Exactly. But I don't want to overlook what Bo Purdue brings to the table in this game. This could be his coming out party. We know about Bo. Missouri fans know about Bo.
Yeah.
Penn State fans know about Bo.
They probably blowing that man's cell phone
up. to know about Bo. This is his Bo knows moment. And does he know how to win the big game that his counterpart in Penn State has struggled with? Can he make that happen with his opportunity to beat Alabama? We know Drickowitz, he wants nothing more but to win this one. I mean, we talk about coaches going in their bag. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a flea flicker. I mean, you know what I'm saying, a reverse pass. Like I could see Missouri digging deep in this one too, to try to make some plays happen. It's a big one. This is a big one. This might be, I think it will be, the toughest game Bama has had to date. And I know that we that Florida State game, it just feels like they just got overwhelmed. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even know that we can consider that a tough game. It just got overwhelmed and beat. I think from first quarter, 15 minutes on the clock to the time ends in this one, this is going to be a game where they just like, damn, can we get the hell up out of Columbia? Like let's leave here right now. Like let's not even go back to the hotel. Let's just go ASAP. I think this is going to be one of those kind of games, man, a true hell game because just because of how well coached Missouri is, plus the talent that they do have now. Missouri has legitimate pros on this team.
Yeah, they do. Like that defensive line. I was listening to Cole Kubelik talk to Josh Pate before we had started recording, just about how stout that defensive line is. They got some dudes on that defensive line at Missouri, and look, I don't think they're going to just be conservative against Ty Simpson. They're going to go after him. They're going to pin their ears back and try to challenge Ty Simpson. And I think Ty Simpson knows that. Like I said, heck of a quarterback right now for Alabama. He's been doing his job. He's been doing, his just due for the Crimson Tide. And for Missouri, they're really going to challenge a guy like Ty Simpson, who's been playing lights out for the Crimson Tide this season. So, look for the D-line to be a factor in this ball game, because I think that will be the calling card for Missouri if they can really stifle this offense. And, in terms of the defensive line, I mean, we can switch over to Alabama right quick. The running backs, they really haven't been doing much with the running backs at Alabama right now. I know Jam Miller, is trying to come into his own and everything, but that is one of those things where you can look at right now with this Alabama football team, that they can be a little bit more efficient. They can be better, and maybe like injuries, of course, have kind of set them back a little bit, because what was it? Jam Miller had just came back. What was it? Just last week against Vandy.
Yeah, and I think that was the first time, if I'm not mistaken, was it last week where Alabama had a running back crack over 100 yards?
Yeah. So
in the Bolton era?
Yeah.
Someone outside of QB. It was Jalen Milrow did so a couple of times last season, but
right.
They actually had a running back get 100 yards on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
That's not like Alabama.
It's not. It's definitely not. So it's going to be interesting to see, can Alabama, throw the ball about 30, 40 times, and Jam Miller comes out of this game with like 12 to 15 carries and still win the ball game? Can that happen? I mean, maybe. This is a different Alabama football team. This is not your Nick Saban football team, where the bread and butter is their running game. What does that look like going against a Missouri team? Will they find a way to not stall in drives? Because I'll say this: if they do stall in drives, that won't bode well for the Crimson Tide. I'll say that much.
So. Yeah, you're right. You're right. This isn't the Missouri team that you want to have a stagnant offense, has some 3 and outs happen against, because Missouri can put points on the board.
Absolutely. So we will see what happens with this ball game this Saturday, Chris. Can't wait to watch it. It should be a fun one. I think this will be a game we'll be talking about a lot on our Sunday show.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Anything else you want to mention about this game before we move over to Bolton's bets?
No, sir.
All right. Well, folks, we have Bolton's bets for this week, in week 7 of the college football season. As always, of course.
We got hooked last week with the backdoor cover by Bama. That was tough. Yeah. And then Oklahoma won by 44 and not 45. The line was 44 and a half.
We can't allow that to happen this week.
You can't make this stuff up, Kory. You can't make this up. But we did get it right with Florida.
Yes.
Getting the win with Texas.
That we did do. And see, folks, just trust in us. trust in Chris's crystal ball. You know, he does this for a reason, folks. That crystal ball of Bolton's bets comes in handy when it needs to, and it came in clutch last week.
So we're gonna try to see into the future this weekend.
Awesome.
And what's the first one you got on the docket?
So yeah. So let's go ahead and get into it. So Bolton's bets, folks, for Week 7 of the college football season. We got our first game. We have Florida traveling to College Station, Chris. Texas A&M. The line right now is 7.5. Over under is at 47.5. You got Florida, Chris, coming out of this game with a victory.
Take the points. I even think you can take Florida winning. Florida had us looking a little crazy to start the season, as we, on our end, had them as one of the top teams in the nation. But despite all the controversy and drama in Gainesville, the Gators only have one conference loss, Kory. They are right there in the thick of it, still in the mix to make some noise in the SEC. A&M's a very good team, very talented team. But I think Florida, who I know has a stout defense, that's the bread and butter of this team right now, is this defense. I think Florida's tough defense can find ways to make Marcel Reed look very up and down, have some struggles, maybe even get a couple of interceptions. Mississippi State forced him into some bad throws last weekend. Respectfully. And the Bulldogs have a really good defense too, honestly. A much improved defense. I think Florida defense is better than Mississippi State's. I think Florida can be a real problem. And they now add a dynamic wide receiver, true freshman, to this offense. A&M has its troubles in the secondary. There were some plays to be made there last weekend that Mississippi State's O-line didn't allow for the Bulldogs to make happen. I think Florida can make those plays this weekend. I say the Gators go on the road at Kyle Field, get a big win against the 12th man. Give me the Gators. I'm sipping the Kool-Aid. Ain't nothing like Billy Napier when everybody counts him out. The man he makes it happen. Everybody thinks you can't win, he wins. And I think Florida, despite what the record says, they play one hell of a schedule. I think this is still one of the 20 best teams in the nation that went into their bye week and figured things out, Kory. They went back onto the drawing board and looked much better against Texas. I think the way A&M has been playing, they are ripe for the taking to get beaten. Give me the Gators.
Nice. Look, I gotta say this, Chris. I know you said you're gonna sip the Kool-Aid. Look, in Gainesville, Florida, they call that Gatorade down there. So hey, they probably like, which one you want, Chris? You want the blue Gatorade?
Give me that orange. Give me that orange Gatorade.
We got you. We got you. Next thing you know, y'all gonna be toasting with Gatorade. You know. Oh man, look, I love the pick, man. After last week, Chris, pandemonium struck down there in Gainesville. People were, looking at each other like, hey, where did this Florida team come from? Where was this team hiding all along? Hey, this team look like they're on a mission right now. They could potentially, Chris, become one of the hottest SEC teams heading through this second half stretch. Look, they did it last year. A lot of people couldn't believe it. Florida fans could not believe what they were seeing. And they took care of business. And, they had that run at the end of the season last year that they had. Could it happen again? Heck yeah, it could happen again. I think what we saw last week, Chris, from Texas A&M, look, they beat Mississippi State soundly throughout the second half of the ball game. But if you look at the first half, it was pretty much abysmal. And I'm just gonna say it right now. Do we still see these mistakes from Texas A&M? All of these offsides penalties, all of that from this team. Same way that we saw against Mississippi State and even Auburn and all the other games. It's back-to-back weeks. Yes. Like, they are a much improved team in terms of handling big moments, because that's one of the big things about A&M, Chris. They'll have a winning record, and then they'll get into these mental lapses where, a Mississippi State or whoever would get them late, and they'll just fall off the face of the map in the SEC. Looks like this year they've kind of rectified some things, but they're not all the way there yet. If they have another game where they're messing up and they're, having all of these penalties, that's going to come back to bite them. It's going to. So, at some point, Mike Elko and company, they're going to have to figure that out, because if they have another game like that, I think Florida's good enough to get you. Their defense is really good. DJ Lagway has a little bit of swagger in him after last week's victory over Texas. They're gonna have to, keep their foot on the gas pedal in this one, because you don't want to be behind. It becomes too late. That's all I gotta say.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, man. But anything else about this game that you wanted to mention? All right. Well, your next Bolton's bets pick, Chris. We have Oklahoma beating the hell out of Texas. The line right now has Texas 1.5. Over under is at 44.5. I know right now, Chris, probably, as we're recording this on a Thursday evening, it's been kind of up in the air on who's going to play in this ball game. Is John Mateer going to come back in this game potentially? Like who are we going to see? Is it John Mateer? Is it Michael Hawkins Jr.? Who is it? From what it sounds like it's going to be a game time decision. Yeah. I'm glad you put it in, put it out there for us. It doesn't matter.
It does not matter who is at quarterback for Oklahoma. Kory, Texas, I think, is broken. Texas is a very talented team. I think Texas is broken. And the remedy, especially offensively, for Texas, is not going up against this Oklahoma defense. That is not how you get back on track.
That O-line is abysmal.
Yes. O-line can't block for anything. And Oklahoma's front four, filthy. They get after it. Anything can happen. Granted, this is the Red River Shootout we're talking about, a rivalry game at the Texas State Fair. It will be turned up. But objectively speaking, Kory, Oklahoma should run through Texas. I don't care if it's Hawkins at QB or if it's Mateer, a rusty John Mateer. Oklahoma has the pieces on offense to eventually wear down Texas. If Florida can get on track and get some pop off some explosives, I feel like Oklahoma can do the same as well. Oklahoma has playmakers on both sides of the ball. I don't know if Arch can get it together against this Oklahoma defense. This will be tough. This environment will continue to be like one, that I don't know if he's been accustomed to playing. The swamp was crazy. Ohio Stadium was crazy. Yes, there will be a split in this one. But we've watched this game our entire lives. When the momentum swings start happening, and if Texas gets down early, you will hear the Oklahoma cheers, and you will also hear the Texas jeers at the same time. It's not a fun feeling. I can imagine for a quarterback in that predicament. I just feel like everything lines up, especially with Coach Venables and the defensive mind he is, for him to scheme up his game plan for inexperienced QB who's going through some turmoil. It's just everything. It feels too good to be true, but I gotta take it. The underdog Oklahoma. I know Texas has an extremely talented roster. I get all that, but I just feel like Vegas ain't caught up to what's going on in Texas, and this is an opportunity to take advantage. I think Oklahoma puts it on Texas. It won't be pretty, my friend. I'm thinking 38-13. I think it might get. Ooh, boy, I need to listen to some Texas Talk Radio if this is the case. But I don't think it's going to be close.
Man, this place will be in a blaze if Texas does not come out of this game with the victory. Look, I'm going to go ahead and say it right now, Chris. I don't think they have a chance to stop Oklahoma. It doesn't matter if it's Michael Hawkins Jr. It doesn't matter if it's John Mateer. I think this Oklahoma team has what it takes to control this ball game for all 4 quarters. And yeah, I think it's going to get ugly for Texas before it gets better. Give me the Sooners. Give me a big lead for Oklahoma in this win. And when was the last time Oklahoma has beaten Texas in Red River? It's been a while now.
Was it Caleb Williams?
I think so. I think so. Like that's been a bit now. So goodness. Yeah, that just shows you how long it's been that Oklahoma has dominated in this rivalry. I think that changes in this game. I think Oklahoma is they've been losing in this rivalry. I think that changes on Saturday. They're gonna get the big victory, and it's not even gonna be funny if you're a Texas fan.
Yeah, and Venables needs this one because Texas is right for the beating. You got to take advantage of this moment. Texas doesn't look right. Everybody sees it. There's a lot of as much pressure as there is on Texas. You don't want to be the Oklahoma team to lose to this Texas team, who I anticipate struggles all season long. Kory.
Yeah, I think even after this game, it doesn't get any easier for you. You still gotta play A&M at the end of the season. You gotta go to Starkville. Look, Mississippi State is a dangerous football team. One of the dangerous football teams in America, yet alone the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how you perform well with the O-line you have. I just gotta put that out there.
No, you're right. You're right, brother. We'll see how things play out, but I feel very confident that Sooners.
Yeah,
they get the victory.
Nice. And lastly, we'll go ahead. Look at the last game you have, Chris. You got South Carolina taking on LSU. LSU, the line right now is 9.5. Over under is at 44.5. You got South Carolina coming out of this game with the dub. Let us know why.
Surprise, a shocker. Definitely take South Carolina in the points. I think this is chaos weekend. And if you had asked me in the preseason, about this game, Kory. I would have been on the other side. You know, I wasn't big on South Carolina this year. Still not big on South Carolina. I think we see some real cracks in the armor on this LSU team. This LSU team, speaking of broken teams, I think is in the same boat with Texas. I think LSU looks to be broken. They can't run the football. You have an elite defense, one of the best in the nation, a championship, a defense that, if you have a good offense, can win you a national championship. But I also feel like, what's the bread and butter of this LSU defense is the secondary. If South Carolina wins this game, it's not going to be because of making plays. It's going to be in the running game, whether it's Lenore Sellers or these running backs. And I think South Carolina is very aware of that. I think South Carolina plans on punching LSU in the mouth and seeing just how good this front seven is, because we know how good the back seven, we look at the linebackers and secondary is. I think they really want to challenge this D-line. And I think if you win this game, that is how you win. I think Lenore Sellers, he runs for over 100. He makes plays. Even when they drop back to pass, it turns into a scramble, and he makes plays with his legs. And then I think you get with some of those scrambles, it opens up the opportunity for the secondary to have to respect his legs, and you get a couple explosives like that. It won't be your scheme it up, going downfield type of plays against LSU secondary that wins you the game, South Carolina. It'll be Sellers making plays with his legs, and ultimately you find a couple weaknesses. Someone steps up, try and stop Sellers, he hits you over the top. And I feel like South Carolina's defense is going up against a broken LSU offense. LSU, like you said, LSU hasn't been able to run the ball. Nussmeier looks to be, he doesn't look like Garrett Nussmeier. His arm strength is his shot, underthrowing touchdowns against Ole Miss. I know this is Baton Rouge at night, LSU home game. LSU just doesn't seem right, Kory. And you know I was Mr. LSU this preseason, but something is missing. Something's off. Something's not clicking with this team. And it's something about mobile QBs. And Lenore Sellers is the guy that we have been raving about as college football lovers, and that he is, and the potential pro prospect that he is. I think this is a game that he takes advantage and puts the team literally on his back and goes out there and exposes this LSU team. I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I see it's like a 20-17 kind of ball game. But South Carolina makes enough plays late in a tied game. Walk-off field goal, even the Gamecocks, 2017, and they beat LSU.
And then that will be the end of all the excuses from Brian Kelly. Oh my gosh! Like, look, if that happens, Chris, I don't want to hear nothing, Brian. I don't want to hear anything. Look, no mouthing off back to reporters. None of that. We want to know why this team has become pretty much the worst it has become. We were raving on this LSU team, and to see where they're at now, I don't know, Chris. And Brian Kelly owes the LSU fan base some answers, because we were looking at this team to have a monster year offensively, and yes, they brought a lot back defensively. Now we're starting to look at this team and say, hey, they're underachieving at an all-time high. That's not good. So hey, if South Carolina can get this done, and I think they can, that would be huge. And I know you mentioned Lenore Sellers, using his legs as well as his arm. How about Rashul Faison and Attaway the third? Those guys have been picking up the load as well, running the football as well for South Carolina. So
they'll need all of them.
Yeah,
I think all of them will make plays if they do win.
Yeah, I think so too. So, hey, a big win for South Carolina. If they can do that, if they can get the job done, that would definitely make their season, indeed, and get them back on track with where a lot of us was putting South Carolina, early in the season. We were looking at them being pretty much in Missouri's position. They can potentially kind of squeeze, in that little column of, being in the middle of the pack in the SEC, just waiting for something to happen. But it starts with games like this, and if they can get a win, that'd be big for the Gamecocks.
A win on the road against LSU at Death Valley.
That's huge.
Especially coming off how last season's game ended, and one you definitely feel like you should have won and would have won if Lenore didn't get injured.
Exactly.
There's some extra motivation there, just something you can't measure. I think South Carolina will come ready to play.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, man, some great picks for this week, Chris. Bolton's Bets Week 7, folks. If you're looking at hitting the parlay this weekend, why not look at some of these games?
Throw your little dollar on this, see you can try to make $10. Turn $1 into $10.
There you go. Try to make some extra cash this weekend. See you can get pretty lucky. So yeah, man. A great weekend. Great slate of games coming up this weekend, Chris. Can't wait for us to talk about it on our live Sunday show. Should be a fun one. And yeah, man, I think there will be a lot of chaos this weekend. I think you're spot on with what could be a chaotic weekend in college football.
Nothing we love more than chaos in college football come together, Kory.
Nothing more. It's cinema, after all. Who needs to go to the movie theaters on a Saturday? This is the movie theaters.
You got that right.
So yes, sir. But another great show, Chris. Always great chopping it up with you, talking college football. Got some outros before we get out of here on today's show. Let the good folks know where they can find you on social media.
Yes, sir. You can find me on X, or as I like to call it, Twitter, forever and always.
There you go.
At Chris_Bolton_12, and on Instagram at Chris.Bolton_. Holla at your boy.
Awesome. And yeah, folks, you can find me on X at Listen to KSW. I'm on there talking college football. The Major League Baseball playoffs is going on. My Detroit Tigers hanging on right now. So yeah. And I'm also on there talking professional wrestling as well. We're recording this show. About to head out on a Thursday. We got some WWE wrestling coming on this weekend during some college football, Chris. We're gonna have to have all the screens.
Man, hey, it's a jam-packed weekend.
Absolutely, it is. Any UFC games? UFC fights?
You got some boxing this weekend. Jerron Boots Ennis fights. There is some UFC. Charles Oliveira is fighting. So I mean, you got it all. You got it all. And so look, this should not be a dull weekend, folks, for sports. It won't.
Oh man, so yeah, definitely follow us on there, guys. But yeah, we will be back. Chris and I will be back on our Sunday live show. So you can definitely follow us on our YouTube channel and all of our channels. Of course, you know where to find us. Definitely, delve into this great community that we have. We'll appreciate you. We'll, stretch our arms out. We're open arms.
Everybody keep subscribing.
Yeah, definitely.
Once we get to 100, we will give a lucky subscriber a college football, their team of choice.
Exactly.
We'll get them a shirt.
Exactly. So yeah, definitely keep subscribing, following the show, tell your friends where we're at, and definitely keep it locked here because we're here for you guys, bring excitement in this world of college football. So yeah, definitely follow us on all of our socials, guys. But like I said, we'll be back on Sunday for our live episode. Be sure to tune in to there. We can't wait to talk about everything that happened in week 7 of the college football season. But until next time, guys, I'm Kory Willis. He's Chris Bolton. You are listening to the Breakdown Sportscast. We will chat with y'all later.
Peace.
Peace.